Welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. And in tonight's episode, we honor the life and legacy of a true warrior of the ring, Jaka. We're joined by his lovely wife, Kathleen, as she shares his dreams, his spirit, and the impact he left on the world of wrestling. This is a celebration of his life, journey, and the legacy that continues to live on through the people he loved. So, como siempre, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on. Hey, Kathleen, ¿cómo estás?
I do not speak Spanish, and my last name I cannot pronounce. Don't ask me to.
It's Echevarria.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
My husband said it way better.
I mean,
Yeah,
naturally,
Yeah.
of course. Well, welcome on in, Kathleen. It's an honor to meet you. It's very, very nice to meet you. I've heard nothing but wonderful things from Eddie about you. So this is actually I'm looking forward to this because of the different hats that you have worn in terms of, being in the industry from many different things, a wife, a promoter, all the things. So this is great.
Yeah.
And once again, to take a moment of your time to give to us, we're really appreciative of, because we know how important time is, especially with you setting up everything that you have to, we'll get into down the line here. But to give us a moment of time, we're truly, truly appreciative. We can't thank you enough for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, Kathleen. And then I just want to go out and say, and let our primos and primas know that you are such a sweetheart. You are such a lovely person on social media and in person, right? Because our conversation, our initial interaction started off on, Instagram, and you were so lovely. You were very responsive and very, just awesome. I could tell from those conversations that you were just an awesome person. But then, we ended up crossing paths at a OCC in Clearwater for
For WWN.
WWN event, right? And I saw you from across the way, and I was like, "Is that Kathleen?" And I was like, "I think I see you." And you were just like, "Yeah, why'd you come say hi?" And I was just like, and then you just, just an explosion of joy and happiness, and
Nice.
the sweetest person I've ever met, even better in person. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you for being this amazing person.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for giving us the time. For real. You're the
Of
best.
course. No, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
But the show must go on. Let's go ahead and continue. So here's the part of the show where I go ahead and throw it off to Ariel. We, normally, a normal thing is we jump into interview questions. Obviously, this is more of like a tribute. Yeah. So we're going to do a little bit more of a pivot here. So the first half of the questions are going to be more so towards, Jaka's career. So that way our primos and primas could learn about him. And then the second half of the interview is this incredible, incredible event that you have put together in his honor, which has an amazing card so far that you've already announced. And we just want to know, whatever you could share with us, the ins and outs, what it takes to, put all that together, bring everybody together for such a special night, for such a special occasion in memory of Jaka. So
For a special person. That's exactly
and now I will stop rambling, and I will pass it on to Ariel, because he's going to kick us off like he always does.
All right, Kathleen. Pretty easy. We have what we call our stable question sandwich. We start with the same question. We finish with the same question, no matter who the interview is. So that's kind of what we'll do here. I'm going to kick it off. Eddie and I go back and forth. Very simple. You got this.
Yeah.
So our first question generally is what is your first memory of wrestling? Do you have the exact moment, or is it just a different group of things, that kind of made you think about it? Eddie's was Kane's debut. Mine, I just remember watching Lucha Libre with my grandfather in the Bronx in the living room. What was your first memory of wrestling? And if you can remember the match, the moment, anything.
So my first memory of wrestling, I was 4. I lived in Illinois. I grew up in Chicago. That's my hometown. Was Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels has been my favorite wrestler since I was a kid. Running joke is my favorite Shawn, and Jonathan's was Bret Hart. So we went back and forth a lot.
Wow.
So, but yeah, Shawn Michaels, anything Shawn Michaels. I mean, I can't remember matches. It's been a long time because I'm 35 now and 4 was 31 years ago. But Shawn Michaels, it's always been Shawn Michaels and will always be Shawn Michaels.
No, there you go. I mean, that doesn't say it right there. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's a memory to have because he's, arguably the greatest. He's on the Mount Rushmore. So
Yeah.
My husband would tell you Brett's still better.
yeah, I mean, that's a debate for that could take episodes and episodes.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, then Kathleen. So then to move to the next question, then who was Jaka's favorite wrestler besides Bret Hart, right? Because you just mentioned that. And was there a particular style that he enjoyed watching the most?
Yeah, so he loved Ric Flair. He loved Hulk Hogan.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Me and his best friend Chris Dickinson have talked about this. My husband used to do a post every Tuesday called Terry Tuesdays when he was in the height of his career, and would post a Hulk Hogan picture.
Wow.
Actually, after Terry died, he did it and actually asked me if it was okay because he thought he hadn't posted about our anniversary, but he was always private about us, which was fine because I get it. Wrestling is very non-personable. I mean, you don't want your private life out there. So that was one of his last posts. Actually, was a Terry Tuesday after Hulk Hogan died. But his favorite wrestling was always Japanese wrestling.
Wow.
There's wrestlers he would name, and I was like, I have no idea who you're talking about because I didn't watch Japanese wrestling until I met him and until I knew of Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, okay. And and that's crazy too, because like now that I'm thinking about this, right? Like New Yorkers, especially wrestling fans from New York, right? You brought up something crazy. Most Latino fans like Bret Hart. I'm actually one of the few that I would agree. I like Shawn Michaels. I was a Shawn Michaels guy growing up. I figured like his moves, the way he sold things, but I didn't see the big deal about Bret Hart. You know what I mean? But
I see it. It's just, I was 4 and I had a major crush on Shawn Michaels, but I also thought he was a great wrestler.
Well,
because, you have to look at it from that point of view as a girl.
Yeah.
We're looking at it that too. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. But he was my favorite wrestler. I mean, he wouldn't be my favorite wrestler today, but he was.
Yeah, but then to go on and to hear that, he was a Ric Flair guy and a Hulk Hogan guy, I was just like, man, that is like so different, but
Well,
I mean, that's awesome.
Props to the old schools. I mean, it's Hogan and Flair. I mean, if you're gonna do it, I mean, I'm 46, so Hogan and Flair is my guys. So
my husband was 39 when he passed away, and he was big on Japanese wrestling, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, those types of guys, Bret Hart. I mean, that's what he grew up on. His dad got him into wrestling, and he's been into it. And then he grew up with 2 best friends, Chris Dickinson and Sean Maluta, who both loved wrestling as much as he did.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, since we're asking, we're talking about Jaka, did he ever mention having a favorite match that he competed in? Sorry,
yes.
Like one that stood out to him personally, like, and why exactly?
So I'm going to give you 2. Okay. The first one is the one that was his favorite ever, and that was with Zack Sabre Jr. As I've stated before, Zack and him had not only created a good friendship, they had created a great chemistry in the ring. Anytime you go back and watch him versus Sabre, there's just an undeniable chemistry between the 2 of them. And I will personally say that was the match. They had a round of 2 or 3, and those were the matches he was most proud of. He was very humble, and he judged everything, but he always felt good about those matches with Zack, and he always talked about those matches. We have a friend that's really into wrestling, and he would talk to even him about Zack. Wow. So Zack was number 1, no thought. The other one that he loved, but he also used as a pickup line on me, was him versus Mike Bennett.
Oh, okay.
With Maria and Taven at ringside.
Oh, yeah, Maria at ringside.
And I actually posted that match to my Twitter about a week ago to Bennett and Taven, and because it really is a phenomenal match. That was out of Beyond Wrestling. Sabres was out of Evolve. So two of his prominent companies that he worked in, he had two really good matches he loved. But he also loved all of his tag team stuff with Chris, and he loved all of his stuff with Pazuzu.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Well, now you mentioned something really good though. You said something about how Jaka felt good about those matches, right? So now that leads me into the next question, right? And feeling good about because we hear a lot of times with the talent, like they don't like to rewatch their matches or they're too critical. So they were like they'd rather just let it be out there in the universe and they'll never revisit. So, from what you have observed, what kind of work ethic would you say, Jaka had and brought to wrestling, especially in the independent scene? Because we've heard also that that is such a grind, the traveling, the, constant shows, one day on Saturday, the next day on Sunday, and then you have to travel to the next city. So, what did you observe from that? And
So obviously, a lot of his career was over by the time we got together. He was at the end of his career with Evolve, and that's when he moved down here, is when he was at the end of it. And then COVID hit when he tried to make a comeback. But my husband had the worst ethic of nobody will ever meet. My husband was working Monday to Friday, then wrestling Saturday, Sunday, and going into work again on Monday. So he would do these trips, doing the road trips with people like Mike Santana, Ortiz, Chris Dickinson, sometimes doing road trips with Gabe Sapolsky, who ran Evolve at the time. My husband was, I'm going to make it work. Once in a blue moon, he'd call out because he was dying. But my husband was, I'm going to go in and give it my best. He did not rewatch stuff. He didn't like to rewatch his stuff. He was very adamant. He didn't want to rewatch it. But there was nobody more professional, more together, really understood the business, had the mind for the business, like my husband. I would sit and watch shows with him after the fact, like watch a Raw or SmackDown, and that's when I would see the most wrestling out of him. And he would explain to me why something was happening if I didn't understand it. Because even though I had been around it, that was an aspect I didn't explore. I never was a wrestler.
Right.
So you got to look at it from that aspect. And, that's why one of the things I've always remembered him telling me is there's not as many people that know the business. Like they go in and do it, but they don't get the mindset around it. And that was why he always said to me, he said, the one person that has the best mind for this business is Drew Gulak. Perfect example.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is why he's helped me book this entire show.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's awesome.
That's great. I mean, just to know, I mean, that 7 days a week, like even though, like you said, you have to call out occasionally. I mean, just nonstop, over and over, giving and giving. I mean, that's love for wrestling itself, for having a passion for what you do. It's fantastic, which is great because that actually kind of leads me into my next question. So what do you think was Jaka's favorite part about wrestling? Was it the competition, the community, the respect? Was it something else? Like, what do you think or do you know, rather? I'm sorry. Like,
So my husband wasn't really competitive. I can tell you that from fact, because we would go to miniature golf games and he would get so irritated that me and my dad were so competitive. So that definitely wasn't it. I think he loved the camaraderie. He really loved the boys. I mean, I'm telling you, even my dad said it. The bond that he's made with guys, again, like all the Pazuzu boys, you're talking about the Sons of Boca boys, including Noah Kakoa, Cesar. You just don't find anything like it. Because my dad was military. He didn't have that camaraderie. That's not something you find everywhere. And the part of it too goes to who he was as a person. Is my husband loved to be the jokester, and he loved to be the one that made people smile. And he was good at it.
Yeah. But
he loved the camaraderie. And I think the best gift of wrestling for him was that he got to do it with his two best friends, in Sean Maluda and Chris Dickinson.
Oh man, that's so lovely. Because it is, because it's like the way you speak about Jaka, it's like I really hope my wife speaks up like that about me. You know what I mean? Like, I just like, because it's so, like, again, I guess the best word is lovely. I love it. I love it. And it makes me happy to hear that, although, life happens, you are still able to be, bring his memory and keep his legacy going. And that's the best that anyone could do, especially when you love somebody. And I think that's incredible. So thank you, Kathleen, for that.
What
Like,
what most people don't know is that though we started our relationship through wrestling, when I met him at Evol, the WWE Super Show of 2017 here in Orlando, was I had known him through social media because I was a big Pazuzu follower. I thought they were great. Because I was starting to watch the stuff on the independents through online factors, because I had learned about like freelance wrestling, beyond stuff like that. I was following him, but go figure, I was a fan of Chris, his best friend, which was always a running joke. My husband thought it was hysterical, but I met him finally in person. And when I met him in person, he just gave me so many good vibes. And by the end of the week, he was like, I really want to try to make this work. And by that July, he had flown down here, made it official.
Wow.
And a year and a half later, he moved here. And I couldn't have asked for a better partner. I couldn't have asked for a better best friend. I couldn't have asked for somebody to love more. Like, when people say, you may still meet somebody, you don't know. That was my person.
yeah.
And I will give everything for the rest of my life to make sure his legacy lives on past him leaving, because that was my life. Like, there is nobody else for me. And he always knew that. We felt that way about each other. And we had talked actually about, if I had went, he would move to Montana and hide, basically, and go off grid.
Off grid. Yeah.
So we both felt the same way.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's okay. All right, Kathleen.
You're gonna have Eddie in tears in
Yeah, like
three more seconds.
I really tried to hold it. Okay.
He's fighting him. He's fighting him.
So, you did mention earlier that when you guys met and spent time together and stuff like that, that he was more towards the end of his career. And
Yes.
but that leads me into the next question of, when he did reflect on his career, besides those two matches that you mentioned, were there any particular moments or accomplishments that he saw like the most valuable, or the thing that he was most proud of during that run?
What he's most proud of was always getting to tag with his two best friends.
Yeah.
I can't stress enough how much he loved working with Chris and Sean. But he also really loved working with Mike and Ortiz, because that's our family. People don't understand when I say that Ortiz is my brother or Kingston is my brother. It's because my husband created this family.
Yeah.
And that's what he was most proud of, is we created this bond with these boys that, like, when we talked about having kids, we knew they'd have uncles that would always be there. And that was the greatest joy for us, is that he got to live out his dreams with his best friends, but also created our family out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how the family you choose becomes the family that matters most, and especially at a time like this, everyone has their family and then their chosen family, and when this situation arises, which is something I can't even begin to imagine, what must feel like as partners, to have people like that can just come together and be with you and be that rock, and know that you've had them, and to know that your husband was a huge part in making that family real is just something that is unbelievable. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's people don't I can't stress it enough how important they all are to me. I mean, when everything happened, the first two that were there were Ortiz and Kingston, and I counted on them, and they were the first ones to go back to my apartment with me, and were the greatest gift that I could have ever have had. But because of that, I have the boys, and then I can't not, while I'm here talking about family, talk about the three that have stood by me from my time in the industry, and that would be Paige, who was a TNA ref, Santana Garrett, and Chelsea Green. because those have been my rocks along with the boys.
Wow.
What a community.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, be able to have something great like that. And that's beautiful that's what you can definitely take out of all of this, and, just the worst possible way. You define beauty in it, and to find something that you can hold on to is fantastic. It's great. So that is, obviously what you hold dearest to you, and remember, through all of this, is having that family. What what do you hope fans remember about Jaka as a professional wrestling? What do you want them to remember most, or feel when they do think about him in the ring?
The first thing I would say is he is more talented than most people I've ever known. If you've seen my husband wrestle, you know he is one of the best, and he should have been further along.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that people like Zack Sabre Jr. would agree with me. Eddie Kingston would agree with me. Gorty, all of them would agree with me. My husband was a lot better than even he gave himself credit for. But I will say that I want them to not only remember that he was a smooth savage, that he was an entertainer, but know that that person that you saw that was so fun loving was really that person. It was just amplified.
Yeah.
Who he was in the ring it was not any different from what he could be at home. Obviously I saw a little more down key,
Right.
but his personality, everything he showed was him. He is that fun loving character, but he could also be that aggressive savage that he was. Yeah. There's a reason why he made a good heel or could make a face. It didn't matter.
Right.
Because he could do either. It didn't matter. He could do either.
Yeah. He could do it all.
I mean, both sides of the coin, right? I mean,
yeah.
to be able to get, draw heat, or, get praise, heel or face, depending on where you are, to be able to command that on either side shows the range of Jaka's ability. And just like you said, it wasn't even a character, it was just him, which is, I think, is even the best thing, is that you saw what you got, like you said, just turned up a little bit, because he's in the ring, he's the focus of attention, so you have to turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But, well, and let me tell you, the guys that he surrounded himself with, to me, they all sort of had that. You look at Mike Santana, he's a perfect example. Mike is himself. Everything he breathes, he speaks, is true.
Yeah.
Ortiz is the same way. Kingston is the same way. I mean, you're talking about a group of men who talk about and live by what they are. They don't change because they have to. They don't have to live a gimmick. They just are who they are, and you either accept it or you don't.
That's it. That's great. And to not have to live a gimmick is fantastic. That's,
yeah,
because you can just be yourself and just be true to yourself, and that's probably the most free thing in the ring that you can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, Kathleen. So, let's jump into this, this tribute show that you're putting together on January 17th. And I just need you to tell me, like, how this thing all came together, and what really truly inspired you to really take this on. I mean, you mentioned that, you have had some help, putting this all together, but in reality, you could have let someone else handle it. But no, you are personally, like, hands-on, booking, doing pretty much whatever you can to make this go, like, the best as possible. So what made you want to take that responsibility on?
First, because I don't trust that somebody will pick the right people that should be on the show. Obviously, I have talent that may not have known my husband, but they know me. So it was a catch-22 because I had people that knew me. For me, it was about making sure our entire family was included, and I didn't want past issues that have arisen on Twitter that were lies, keeping our family not on a show. It wasn't going to happen. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I knew the men I was booking, and these were the same men that showed up to the funeral and had my back when I needed them most. So there was no thought that I was going to let anybody else do this. Has it been very stressful? Yes.
Yeah.
On
Can
top of
imagine.
losing my husband, and I know it's been, we're going on 4 months on Wednesday since we lost my husband, but I also didn't want to wait on this because doing this, even though my husband would have hated that it was in his name, because my husband never wanted anything to be about him. He wanted it to be about other things. The meaning behind it is what would have mattered to him.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm doing it with Kingston and Ortiz, and we're doing it as a family for their school that's being built, would have meant everything, because they were talking about the school. He was ready to go and help train. He wanted no responsibilities to it, but he was ready to go. He was talking to Ortiz about it. They've been talking about him moving down here, getting the school set up, and then him coming to help train. And my husband, Gulak said the same thing to me. If he could have built a catch point school down here instead of in Pennsylvania, my husband would have been his first call.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's high praise. That's high praise.
Yeah.
It's very important to me to make sure his legacy lives on, first off, because he is a wonderful, there is no human on this earth that was better than him. Nobody. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. You can say that you are wonderful, but until you meet a soul like his, I mean, he changed my entire life. Like, I never thought I'd get married. I never thought I'd even think about kids. I never thought I'd trust a man. I mean, there was a lot of different things that I felt, and he changed it all.
Wow.
And so his legacy has to live on. He needs to live on past this. He may not have been thrilled about the idea of it. People bring that up, and I'm like, but that's not what this is. It's his legacy needs to live on, because he was bigger than life, and his career should have been bigger than it was.
Yeah.
He may not have wanted that, because as time went on, he got old manish and wanted to be home with me, but he could have gone much further than I think anyone realizes.
Yeah.
Well, so you actually kind of answered my next question, because I was going to say, in terms of having the personal relationships that you and Jaka had with everyone, you keep mentioning Kingston, Ortiz, Saber, Santana. I was going to ask, like, how was it hard to decide who to call? But you just said it's because it's family. It was a simple.
It is. It's about family. Everything's about family first. Obviously, the first calls I made, I reached out to Kingston and Ortiz. They were the first ones I talked to about it, because obviously it had to do with their school. Mm-hmm. I had talked to Santana, obviously with Genesis. He could not make it, but Santana was consulted about it, talked to about it immediately after I started thinking about it. And the same with Saber, though he can't make it because of New Japan. I actually went around to find his email, because I have seen Saber live, but I've never met Saber personally, because when Jonathan and I met, it was the end of Saber's tenure in the States before he went back to New Japan. Right. So I got Saber's email and I reached out because I wanted to make sure. It's the same reason why Bennett and Taven were asked immediately. There was no thought. I knew how important those matches were with him. I knew that Taven alone meant something to him, because he always would tell me, "Oh, I'm working Taven. It's easy. Yeah. He's great to wrestle. He's so easy in the ring." There was no thought on those types of guys. When you can't get certain ones, that's when you start looking at the other talent past family. But there was no thought. I mean, when they came here for the funeral, I made it clear that I wanted to do this, and I didn't know what day I was going to do it, but I wanted to do it, and I wanted the family to be a part of it, and that's how you have all the guys that we have, along with, like, the workhorsemen. Anthony Henry and his wife Amber have been one of our best friends and our family for however long it's been now. John Davis is like my big brother and was good friends with Jonathan. You don't do it without family.
Right.
And the talent later comes when you need. But again, there's still people that are friends, that people I can trust, that I can rely on.
Right.
And that was the biggest thing. Just like, as we talked about earlier, Eddie, Danbury.
Yeah.
There was no way I was going to do this without Danbury.
Yeah.
And if Dutch and Vince had not been called up by TNA, I would have had Dutch and Vince there too, because were super important to my husband.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because obviously people, talent rather, getting called up or moving into the next phase of their career could, change a lot of things. So in obtaining like, well, that actually leads me to my next question. Is like in obtaining the talent, of course, family will be the first ones to be like, yes, I'm there, no question. But in obtaining the other talent, the rest of the talent rather, has it been like some difficulty? Because the only reason why I ask that question is because we've learned through, conversations with other talent or, promoters and things like that, that, everything could switch in the last minute because things come up and, contracts get upgraded, this and that, and their prior engagement is no longer available. So it's like, you know, in you booking this event, have you come across that? Is that like, even if it's a tribute show, it's like, is that something that you've come across?
Most of the guys were pretty good. Um,
Mm.
the ones that I had trouble with, I had Kingston or Ortiz handle and talk to,
Nice.
and try to work it out for me, because sometimes when they don't know you, they don't answer too. So that was hard. But like, Mike Santana wouldn't promise anything till he had his TNA dates, and that's why he wouldn't book anything until he knew. And so when he got his dates, he told me, and we were done. I understood. Same with Saber. Though Saber will tell you he's notorious for not answering emails, he was very good about answering me. But with New Japan, I mean, he just won a trios title last night at Wrestle Kingdom. I had a feeling he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
But I
right.
also knew some of these would also come down to the line of what would happen. The only two that were a given, no matter what, were Kingston and Ortiz. And I knew that because I know them.
Right.
And Tony Khan obviously has been very generous regarding my husband posting about his death and donating to the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So to me, AEW has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Tony Khan especially.
That's great to hear. It's great to hear that an owner like that, cares enough to do things, like
Right.
this, and put out the posts and things like that, and to let the talent come. And that's once again is a testament to who your husband was, and what you want him to be remembered for in terms of doing this tribute show. And in doing a tribute show, of course, everyone's expected to have those moments of sadness and remembrance and things like that. But is atmosphere wise, what kind of atmosphere do you think fans can expect when they attend the show outside of these heartfelt moments? Are Ortiz and Kingston, are we expecting some turned up things to just show the best they can do for Jaka? Like what do we think?
This is not about heel or face. It doesn't matter about any of that. Because it's not one of those types of shows. It's a tribute show. It's meant to show their love of wrestling and their love for my husband.
Right.
There will probably be a lot of jokes cracked by Kingston,
Nice.
but and maybe some others, but because that's how they are, and that's how my husband was. He was a big joke cracker, and so were all the boys. So I would not be surprised if there's a lot of jokes cracked. I will not be surprised, but it will be a fun, loving remembrance. It's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
I'm dreading the 10 bell salute and the thank yous, only because he's gone and I don't want him to be gone.
Of course not. Yeah. No, but what you're doing is, such a beautiful thing. And again, the fact that you're even taking the time to, put on such an incredible event and such a stacked card, which I'm sure, you're going to share in a few moments. But, with that, everything that you've mentioned to us comes a tremendous amount of challenges, right? I mean, like you said, some people responding right away, some people, kind of pulling teeth to try to get them on this whole thing, and then others have just gone through smoothly. So, my question is, what were certain challenges that came up that you didn't expect to happen, like that just came out of nowhere, that you're like, oh, I'd even like when it comes to like setup, ring crew, like anything, just you're just like, oh man, I didn't know I had to deal with that.
Probably the TV aspect of it, because we're streaming it.
Oh,
That would be the most thing. I didn't find out all that until like 2 weeks ago when I had a call with the promoters. I was like, I didn't know we needed, which is why I brought Trevin Adams from WWE Live into it. Because I needed backup who actually knew what he was looking at. Because, like I said to Trevin, I said it's also been 8 years since I was in a ring, since I managed,
yeah,
or been around it. So it's really hard when you're like, what do I need? But wrestling has always been hang on by your seat tails and hope for the best.
right,
So I shouldn't have been surprised, but I work a full-time job. I am grieving my husband. So some of it just everything stresses me out right now. It doesn't
right,
matter what it is. Um, and that's sort of where I'm at right now in life.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine it gets any harder than what's happening right now. And then in terms of you taking it upon yourself to do this show, and once again to make sure that it's done right and handling it yourself, that's just that's I can't imagine the workload on you and the stress on your shoulders and everything. And I am in awe of the strength that you can show during the most difficult of time to be able to take something like this on. So if I may, you are amazing and fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
A
I
lot of people said that after the funeral too, because I got up and spoke after at the funeral, and most people were like, a wife wouldn't do that. But I said, I know my husband wouldn't want me to just lay down and give up, even though
right.
obviously I feel like that. We all feel like that when we lose somebody.
yeah,
Um, but I knew they needed to see what I saw outside of the business, because our relationship, though it started in the business, wasn't about the business and had nothing to do with it.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, to finalize the interview, we usually finish with our sandwich, but because we're doing the tribute thing, we're doing something a little different. So for anyone listening who's thinking about supporting or attending the show, I mean, we understand why it's so important. With Jaka's legacy and wanting to just have the love of the boys out there and everything, and just remembering him. But what would your statement be to everyone who's coming, and what would you like to say to them as kind of a quick little one liner, not one liner, but just like a kind of a what to expect, what can be, I don't want to say why they should come because everyone knows why, but what would you say to kind of kick them in the butt a little bit and be like, come on, make sure you get there.
Expect the best. In
Love
Florida,
it.
a
Love
lot
it.
of these guys are not here very often in Florida working. When was the last time you saw Kingston work an indie show in Florida? When was the last time you saw Ortiz or Joey Janela work one?
yeah,
These are not guys who come down here very often.
Right.
You're not going to get this chance probably again, because Florida is not the place for indie wrestling, unless you're going down to Boca or attending a CCW show, because those are the ones that seem to pull bigger names.
Right.
You don't see, but again, you still don't see guys like Kingston and Ortiz working Florida bookings.
yeah,
I mean, they're working New York, Pennsylvania, Maine, Chicago. I mean, because there's so many more promotions up north, like freelance wrestling, AIW, you've got Beyond, you've got PWJ Cards, you've got ACW, you've got all these wrestling companies up north that
yeah,
draw more than they draw down here.
Right.
I mean, I have somebody coming in from Canada who is the Greektown Championship Wrestling guy, and you're never going to see him down here unless somebody books him. And he's Canadian. The chance of somebody flying him in from Canada to a Florida show is going to be very unlikely.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
You can see him a bunch in New York, but you can't see him in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, expect the
So,
best. I think that's that right there. So you nailed it perfectly in the first 3 words. I think that was like just mic drop, I think, but that was fantastic.
Yeah, no, for real. So then expect the best, right? So then please share what the card is at this point. Cause I feel like you're just gonna throw more and more leading up because we're a few weeks away. And it's like everything that you've dropped already has been like, no way that this match is happening kind of situation. But like,
well,
yeah, let's go through this.
Obviously, our main event is Catch Point,
Okay.
reuniting for one night only. Because my husband was a big part of Catch Point. That was a big bulk of his career with his tag team partner Chris Dickinson and Doom Patrol. So I have Drew Gulak and Matt Riddle with Chris Dickinson taking on the Workhorsemen, obviously two of our good friends, and John Davis, another good friend, as our main event. And that will probably be one of the most spectacular matches. Catch Point hasn't been together in probably almost 10 years.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a Catch Point, even because the original members of Catch Point, you're looking at Drew Gulak, my husband, Chris Dickinson, Matt Riddle, Tracy Hot Sauce Williams. You're looking at TJ Perkins. I think even at one point in time, Dom Garini, you've got even, I think Wheeler Yuta was a part of it at one point.
Wow.
But then you have a match like a first time ever, which is the Kingdom versus Violence is Forever. Because I wanted to make sure that not only did my Catch Point boys get and the family get what they needed, you get his other favorite match other than Sabre, Bennett and Taven versus Violence is Forever. And my husband loved Kevin and Dom, and I want to see what they can bring together because those are two of the best tag teams around right now.
Yeah.
And then one match that has not been announced that is going to be announced tonight after I get off this will be Marty Bell and Allison Kay versus Leva Bates and Sophia Castillo. Sophia is very up and coming. Leva, we all know and love. But Sophia is very up and coming, but she is phenomenal. And I have known her since I was in the business and I've seen her grow.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of her. And when I saw her at the show, actually, we met at Eddie. I was like, I want you to be a part of this. And her boyfriend actually was put on the card as well. But it's them against the Hex. And I'm ecstatic about it because I want people to see how wonderful. There are no two women wrestlers better than Allison Kay and Marty Bell. I mean, there are good women wrestlers, but Marty Bell and Allison Kay, they've been doing this a long time. They're like a Mercedes Martinez and an Ivelisse Velez. They're two of the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're prime examples of that generation who really can just continue to outdo everyone and work harder than most people realize. I mean, I've watched a lot of women's wrestlers and they're two of the best.
Yeah.
But then, we have Ortiz and Steve Monster Mac coming in to tag. They're very excited about this tag. And they will be wrestling an up-and-coming tag team, The Rapture, who is Sophia Castillo's boyfriend that I pulled in, Jay, and his tag team, Richard, which was perfect because it will sort of be a teacher versus up-and-coming, veteran versus up-and-coming. And that was really important to me because obviously Ortiz is opening this school with Kingston, and I really want to emphasize just how good of a teacher he is because I watch him and I listen to him talk and I know how good he is. But there's also going to be a lot of matches people aren't expecting. We're doing a tribute to Greektown with Channing Decker versus Serpentico.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Channing, again, another good friend of my husband's, and Serpentico has been a good friend of mine for years. And then the Beyond Feet 4-way, which is a tribute to the original building. They did Beyond out of feet. So it was very important to me to have that along with 4 original Beyond guys: TJ Marconi,
Yep.
Shug D, Martin Stone, and Joey Janela.
Yes.
So these were all these small things. People see the intercross promotions with CCW and BRCW. They work together all the time. But it was very important to me to include Beyond in some way, to include Greektown in some way, because those, just like even though Evolve is not a thing anymore, it is through WWE, but it's not the same as what it was.
Right.
It was important to have an Evolve standout match with Catchpoint, because you can't not have Catchpoint in a show when that was a big part of my husband's career. I mean, my husband was a 2 or 3 time Evolve tag team champion with Chris.
Yeah.
And I can't let that go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, you know, these are the people that were important. I mean, my husband's career doesn't go where it went without Beyond Wrestling, without Evolve.
Right.
And he loved his time in Greektown, and I knew how important Greektown was. I mean, that was the one venue I saw my husband come out with a wine glass to the ring. So I knew how much he loved it. So, and they just hit their 10-year anniversary, and their champion is actually Channing Decker. So he will be coming in to showcase what Greektown really is about. And it's something you can watch down here, even though you can't go to Canada. Triller TV, IWTV, High Spots. There's so many ways to watch these independents now.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. It's why I've told them all to bring flyers, send flyers, whatever I can do to promote these shows, because everybody should work together. Is how I've always felt.
Right.
Because the only way you grow your talent bucket is if you meet new people. And that's the one thing I'm doing by including all these promotions, but also honoring my husband's memory, because a place like Beyond Wrestling was my husband's home, and was my husband's home for a very long time. And I would never not include them.
Yeah, of course. Wow, Kathleen, this event, yeah, as you know, it's like, as I mentioned behind the scenes, like, I will be out of the country. But if
Yes.
I wasn't, I'm about to tell my wife, I'm like, I think we're gonna need to like reschedule this thing, because there's no
Hey, it's only
way.
off by 2 days.
I know, I know it, and I'm just like,
Move it.
oh, but she was like, no, there's not refundable. Like, I could already hear it, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, but you did mention that because I'll be out of the country, there is going to be plenty of ways to watch it. I'll be able to watch it online. Ariel will be able to watch it online, and the other thing that I also want to put out there too is we'd also want to thank you for giving Primos for Life the opportunity for us having a presence there at the show, because we are sending our photographer Marcus and our social media navigator, content creator Javier, who you met at the
Yes.
OCC. They'll be
Yes.
there, and we're going to offer some updated shots, a backdrop for all the talent, so that way, anytime they needed, new photos for other promotions, we'll be able to provide that. Obviously, we'll forward everything to you as well.
Of course.
And then anything that, Javier catches on social media, we'll all do a collaboration through us and through your page, and everything will, like you said, we're all working together to get as much eyes as possible on this event, because it is truly, truly, truly going to be something incredible, something special, something amazing for an amazing man. And, and I can't even imagine someone else doing this, because you yourself are truly, truly, truly an amazing woman, Kathleen. You are fantastic. You are the sweetest. I can't say this enough. You are salt of the earth. You are pure and lovely. And I can't stop. You are amazing. You are amazing, Kathleen. Thank you.
The one thing I'll say is, you heard Trevin say that he knew me and Jonathan separate.
Right.
He knew us separately before we were together. And when he says he knew it was legit, it was. That was my person, the love of my life. There's no thought. And I would never let anybody come in and take over something because I don't think it would be done correctly.
Yeah.
Because I knew what parts of his career were very important to him and who was the most important to him.
Yeah.
And though Gulak has helped laid out the show on how we should do matches, on, you know, timing and stuff like that, the ending is going to include the three people he loved most. Yeah. And that's why this show means so much, because you're going to see the love that was there for him and the love that continues even though he's not here anymore.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say, beautifully said. I don't think there's anything more that we can put on that. So Kathleen, what I would like to do is once again, wholeheartedly and honestly, thank you for taking the time to, you know, just have a conversation with us and let everyone know about Jaka and the event that's coming up. But also want to thank you for just showing people that throughout the worst things, you can still be strong and tackle things that are immeasurable, like putting on a wrestling show in honor of the one person who you love most and you lost. So thank you for showing everyone that strength is always something that you have as long as you call on it. So, you know, we truly appreciate your time, your candor, absolutely everything. I know you're not supposed to say, so break a leg, I guess, but not in wrestling. I'm not sure what because you don't want to say that in wrestling.
I don't know what that term is.
Well, in show business, they say break a leg, but then they're like, you're not supposed to say good luck, something. So
the best way to put it, because I'm a huge Celine Dion fan, and my husband used to sing "That's the Way It Is" to me. But one thing I remember is right after her husband died, she did a song, and the title was, and this is what I look at it, is "The Show Must Go On."
Well, that being said, the show must go on, and thank you for making sure that it is.
Yeah.
Especially in honor of Jaka.
Yeah. Yeah, Kathleen. And just one more time before we conclude, please, please, please let our primos and primas know, because this is the part we usually, you know, do the social media plugs.
Yeah.
But in this case, you know, please put out any information that you can where people could find tickets for the show, where they could see the cards, you know, on any social media platform. And then most importantly, if they're not going to be able to physically attend, you know, and do this amazing meet and greet that you have set up as well, because that's another thing you got to throw in there, where they could watch it.
Hey, the merch and stuff too is very
Yes, please. The floor is yours. Let the primos and primas know what is about to go down with this show.
So tickets are being sold at ccwtix.com. Those are tickets. First row through fourth will be seated. General admission will be standing room only. The meet and greet is running at $100 for Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, Allie, the Hex, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, Riddle. I'm trying to remember everybody. Joey Janela. And there may be more. I don't remember everybody right now on this, but for $100.
Wow.
The tickets are a little more steep, but it equals out.
Yeah.
Because as somebody said to me, you could get 300 for one. So, and that's obviously photo op. That's up to 5 people, 1 item signed per person. That's how we're running that. But you buy 1 meet and greet for up to 5 people. And then if you want to do 10, let's say, you got to buy 2. Mm-hmm. So it's still way cheaper than most.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're doing also on that same page a silent auction. We currently have signed Chelsea Green gear, a batch of stuff from Santana Garrett. I've got I got signed Funko Pops that somebody donated of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, conveniently. Signed turnbuckles from Impact Wrestling, one with Tully Blanchard.
For me, you know.
No, I did put them on there. One turnbuckle signed just by Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, and then the other one was a multitude, and that was donated as well. High Spots donated a Dom Mysterio signed figure, Bianca Belair figure, and Kota Ibushi card. But the one thing I'm very proud of, other than the Chelsea Green gear, is the signed T-shirt by the entire MFT group. So I do want to give a shout out to JC Mateo for making that happen, and to Tamatonga, Solo Sokoa, Tongaloa, and Talatonga. have no idea how much that meant to me. So those are some of the big things. Caleb Conley has gear. So there's tons of stuff on there from Rosemary and everybody. So go and check it out. It's all on ccwtix.com.
Wow.
At the show, we're going to have we have a guy making 3D lights that you can purchase with my husband's Forever logo. There's also going to be 2 different types of t-shirts, the Forever logo that everybody's seen everywhere, along with a Denny's style, because my husband loved Denny's IHOP and Waffle House, just as any other independent wrestler.
Yeah.
And then we have custom trading cards that were made to honor my husband's legacy, a cartoon version, and then we're going to have regular ones along with some trading cards of the other performers that will be there.
Nice.
So we have all of that. We have, and I will tell people there, if you get front row, you can get that, or stage seating. So you have option of stage seating.
Nice.
It will be streamed on YouTube and Twitch is the plan. If you're there, though, you'll get access to a tribute video that nobody else will see, because it is wrestlers talking about what my husband meant to them and to their careers, or to them personally. So that is one thing that if you come, you'll get personal, and along with the specialty items that we're selling, that all the money goes to a foundation in my husband's name, being ran by Ortiz. And once the school opens, we will make selections on candidates and let people know how you can apply for scholarships to go to wrestling school via Ortiz and Kingston's school.
Wow.
And as we determine after the initial steps after the show and after the school gets open and how we're going to try to continue to build the money, we'll make acknowledgments about that as well. They can follow me on social media at Cliver with 4 R's, XO, or any follow-up information. I'm continuing to post matches. I'm continuing to post everything about the show, silent auction items, and anything else that's needed. Or you can follow Boca Raton Championship Wrestling, BRC Florida, on Instagram, or CCW Coastal Championship, which are all tagged in my post. And while I'm here, I want to give a shout out to the 3 men who have helped me the most through all of this, other than Trevin Adams and Drew Gulak, Matt and Neil, who are Boca Championship Wrestling, and Nelio, who owns CCW, because they have been fantastic, and without them, this does not happen.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, Kathleen. Oh, why am I gonna miss the show? No. I want to be there.
So many things. So many. I mean, like,
just take it all. Take all my money, please.
All this together. Like, wow. Yeah. Oh man.
Please.
And just so you know, the YouTube and Twitch will be free. But after they stream live, we are going to have them put on IWTV to rewatch, and hopefully I'm going to figure out the logistics of that and where the money goes after. But it will be between there and WWN Live to make sure that the places he called home, those fans can continue to remember him.
Wow, you covered everything. That's amazing. How? Like, I'm like stressing thinking about, like, oh my gosh, like, you got to do this.
It's been very stressful, but my life is very stressful right now. I mean, but I loved my husband more than anything in this world. And until I see him again, I will be doing everything I can to keep his memory alive and to honor him, but to also continue to help grow Ortiz and Kingston School, because that was the one thing he was so proud that was coming, and was so proud of Monkey for doing. And you've talked to Ortiz. My husband and Ortiz were twins in so many ways that there's no 2 people I would want to help more, and they both know that. So not only honoring my husband, but also honoring him by helping 2 of the people he loved most in this world continue on. And grow their legacies too.
Yeah, of course. Kathleen, thank you so much again for being so strong, so vulnerable, so honest, and just putting on a spectacular show and giving us the time to do our part in any way that we can to help and share this with the primos and primas and all social media platforms. And I really can't wait until I get back from this trip, and then we could meet up somewhere in Florida, probably in another show, and
You don't
just
have to come to Orlando, but I ain't traveling over there.
no, you came out, you were out in Clearwater, so I don't want to hear it now. But yes, the next time I'm sure Mike is in town and they're at TNA in Full Sail or something. Well,
I told you I got to meet the righteous.
Yeah,
I'm looking for Dutch.
yeah,
I have infamous stories told. I need to meet Dutch.
yeah. But again, Kathleen, thank you so much. You have been fantastic, and we'll be in touch and we'll be talking, and we mad love from the Primos. Thank you again.
Thank you so much
for your time, for your candor, everything. Thank you very much. We will be making sure that everybody who cannot make it there will be on YouTube or Twitch to watch that live, because I know I will be. So
yeah.
And when I get the links, I will send them out to everybody.
Yes, please.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank
you
you
rock,
again,
Kathleen. You're the best.
Thank you.
Awesome.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Yes.
So much.
Take care. Bye. Yeah. Right. First of all, how lovely is she? And how amazing is she in the sense of the amount of time and effort and work she is putting into the remembrance of her husband, Jaka, who, based on the conversations here and off camera, I mean, what an incredible couple, what an incredible story, and just wow. Wow.
I mean, that's why I said it to her. I'm like, to be able to show the strength that you have in doing all this in such a dark time and such a terrible time is a testament to who she is as a person and how strong she is and just how awesome she is. She is absolutely fantastic. She's, like you said, salt of the earth. She's just good as people, you know, like, and that's hard to find nowadays, to find someone who's just naturally good all around. And, it just seems like that's who she is and who Jaka was. And this is going to be a hell of a show. Expect the best. I love that. I was really, really excited with that. And I'm looking forward to seeing this because, I mean, A, to help, and B, just to, just see. I want to see the talent, and I want to see the moments and just kind of see the fanfare that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And we'll be able to catch it, like she said, on Twitch and YouTube. And then, we'll be reposting everything. So we know, we can let our primos and primas know where to catch this show, whether they're in
Get
Florida.
ready, guys. Get ready. We're gonna be posting it. And honestly, please, if you have a moment, if you have some time, please click the links. Let's get some eyes on this. It's for the best of causes. It's for the love of a woman who's just, for her husband who just wants to make sure that he's shown in the best possible light and remembered and loved. And I mean, that's what everybody wants for the people they love. So everyone can follow that. Click the link and enjoy the show.
And all I gotta say is, Laura and Amanda better have a tribute show for us. They better.
Tribute show. Mine would be like a tribute. Like what were those reels that you could only make? They were like 5 seconds long.
A tribute reel?
No, tribute vine. It was like the vines. It was like from years ago that you could only make like a 5-second clip. Mine would be like a tribute vine.
Yeah. Hey, Ariel, boom. That's it. Over.
Done.
Over. Over. No pressure, ladies. No pressure. Oh man, bueno primo. Let's take this opportunity to go ahead and thank our wonderful listeners, our primos and primas. This one's a little bit more special because we are taking a moment here to truly, 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 genuinely show our appreciation to you guys, because without you, none of this happens. Without you, there is no season 2. Without you, there's no, demand for us to go out and meet new people and make friends in the business, whether it's a wrestler, a spouse, a referee, a correspondent, announcers. I mean, this
fans,
anybody. Right. Exactly. This ride, like you say, has been so incredible that if it wasn't for y'all, like, what are we even doing? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
we just want to like genuinely, like thank you guys, man.
Yeah.
We're excited to keep doing this for you guys. Keep the comments coming. Keep the response going. Keep the feedback coming because we're here to grow. We're here to give you guys what you want. And
Yeah.
we just are truly grateful that you even want to hear both of us talk for an hour.
That,
Thank you.
yeah.
You
And
know,
usually my wife, once again with Divine, will be like, stop, enough, we're good. Like, all right, 5 minutes in. But no, Eddie said it. Like, they're like, not to be cheesy, but there is no us without you. Like, so thank you guys for taking the time, the sharing, and the visiting primosforlife.com, finding the platform, smashing the like button, sharing the content, liking the reels, the shorts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, everywhere. Just go there, please. Click a little love. Tell a friend. If you want to chat wrestling, let us know. We are always down. I have a friend of mine who's going to be joining us for a pre-Rumble show he wants to be on. So it's going to
let's
be
go.
fantastic. So please, like I said, know us without you. We love you all. We can't do this without you. And it's a much better ride with you on it. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. That being said, I'm going to throw it to Eddie.
Bueno, primo.
We'll see if we can nail it this time.
Como siempre, we will see you when we see you.
Now, see you when you see you guys. We love you. Night. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.